you for taking time for hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to the live broadcast of Time for Hemp all around the world on AmericanFreedomRadio.com and on AM/FM stations all across America. Tonight is listener call-in night. If you'd like to talk to us here at Time for Hemp, if you want to call us up and let us know that you like the show, you don't like the show, if you think marijuana is a wonderful thing to smoke, or if you think we're all going to hell in a handbasket because we're trying to re-legalize this plant, whatever, give us a call here at area code 402-237-2525, and we'll try to get you on the line. We are being joined this evening by Carey Burns, and he's got a son who's got a show on right before this, I believe, called The Freedom Files. And James has got a great show that I like to listen to. And I think we're also going to be joined by Brad Irwin sometime this evening from Hippie Butter is going to be calling in with a question or two. And Dean Becker will also be joining us. And we're going to have a poem from Paul Bullock. So we got a pretty interesting program already lined up, to say the least. I want to say thank you to KDK Distributors for being nice enough to give us a grant here at Time for Hemp to keep us strong, loud, and proud. Because of their assistance, we're able to continue being the voice of the marijuana movement. I also want to give a big shout out to all of my listeners up in Canada. We had a great show last night with Mark Orenda on and Al Graham. That was fun. And of course we had Joy Davies on as well, teaching us how to work from the inside. Next week is going to be Leap Week. We are celebrating the members of Leap. I love them there at Leap. And if I would encourage you to go to leap.cc and check out their website. And we will be having a different speaker from their organization next week, including Judge Gray. Judge James Gray will be joining us on Tuesday, and we got Norm Stamper coming on Wednesday, and then we got a special Thanksgiving presentation, as well as Black Friday next Friday, because I think Black Friday already happened this past Friday. Retailers keep trying to push it up so they can get everybody to go running out and make a deal. Well, here's a deal that I want for Christmas. Anybody wants to know what they can get me for a Christmas present? Let me tell you straight up, the kind of present I like is the kind of present that once I open it up, I get the urge to burn it and enjoy it one hit at a time. And that always makes it a great stocking stuffer. And if you're looking for other great stocking stuffers, I would encourage you to go to hippiebutter.com. They have some really great items there, from foods to diaries that are made out of hemp paper. And they're a great group of people. Also, another great gift idea is a subscription to Treating Yourself magazine or a subscription to Skunk magazine. Both make for good reading. Well, like I said, it is listener call-in night, so if you want to pick up the phone and ring us up and talk to us, you can do so. Again, the phone number is area code 402-237-2525. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a whole lot more about how wonderful it is to take time for hemp.
Get your smoke on, everybody gather.
Yeah, baby, get your smoke on, be loud, be proud, let everybody know that you are a proud marijuana user. And sometimes you use it for medical purposes because, you know, we do have medical needs for this. Sometimes you use it just because you're going to sit down and watch a Jim Carrey movie. And honestly, Jim Carrey's a whole lot more funny when you're buzzed. And sometimes the neighbor down the street just really makes you so mad you just want to go down and start some kind of trouble. So instead of doing that, you just smoke a joint. The next thing you know, boom, you're in a mellow mood. Everybody's happy. And why should you go to jail for that? And that's what this show's about, how wonderful it is to enjoy taking time for hemp. And sometimes when I was a kid, my mom would send me to a corner in the house because I misbehaved. And when I was sitting in the corner, I would take time for cannabis, which brings to my mind, wouldn't that be a good name for a program? Thinking about that brings to mind maybe Carey Burns. Carey, thank you for taking time for hemp.
Hey, Casper, how you doing tonight?
Pretty mellow. How's life in your slice of heaven?
Well, it's doing pretty good. We're going to warm up to spring-like temperatures over the weekend, and then they say the bottom's going to fall out next week, and it's going to get really cold here in Texas. So,
well, it's going to happen here in Indiana, and my main form of transportation is a motorcycle, so you can know how miserable I'm going to be.
ooh, I hate that bike riding in rain or cold. It's not fun.
No, well, it sure beats walking.
I guess that's a good point. How's that?
Well, I read in the news today. I read in the Salem News today that Dr. Phil Leitch says that marijuana is a miracle painkiller that is better than almost all opiates, and that this natural remedy has been used with success through the ages. Now, isn't that headline news? God, I never knew that. Did you?
Just shocking to hear something like that. Gosh. To think that they were lying all these years to us.
Yeah.
Well, I
but they
tell you,
print
that's
that
a whole
up
lot
like it's
more.
brand new.
Yeah. This is new information, boy. This is quite revealing.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, I tell you, it's just
So
crazy
what is
how-
new? I know that Arizona finally made it happen. When the count finally came in, the marijuana medical measure actually was a success there.
Yeah, I heard that they actually had won by several thousand votes. So that's a good sign that at least the people are waking up, unlike their neighbors a few states away, but California.
Well, that and there's two other states too. You know, it's sad to see that it struck out in all three of those states. But I'm so glad that Arizona, which is a surprise, because Arizona has some of the strictest laws pertaining to this plant.
Yeah, that is kind of strange, and that's where Senator McCain's home base is from too. So that was quite a surprise. But I think it's just sad that we have to have a vote of any kind. You know, they don't mind that people go and buy liquor or cigarettes or go to doctors to get prescription drugs, and here you have a perfectly natural substance that's never harmed a soul, and yet for some reason, which there's many, but they just seem to want to chase us down and beat the tar out of us.
They absolutely do, and they seem to be ratcheting it up now in some of these states. I think they're going in some of the counties where they voted no on Prop 19 even more harshly.
Oh yeah, I expected that. The Drug Enforcement Agency, the federal government, and all, they never really did let up. Even when the dispensaries got the states okay in California, the federal government never let up. And of course, Obama, he claimed that that's what one of the things they were going to do was just sort of let them operate. And then all of a sudden, boom! There's this major crackdown, and so it's like everything else. It's just one big lie.
Well, our government lied to its people? No, I think you misread that. I can't imagine you saying that out loud.
Well, that is what they had said when they first came in. They were going to be kind of lax on the medical marijuana user, and I guess they expect this stuff just to poof out of the air. There's not supposed to be somebody growing it and somebody selling it and somebody dispensing it and all that. I mean, I don't really see how they make the connection. They want to pass a law that says it's okay for you to hold an ounce of it, but all these people that are going to be driving around with all these ounces in their pockets, somebody's got to be somewhere where they're getting all this stuff. I wonder how they expected all that to happen.
Well, that's one of the things that I like about Oregon. I'm even toying with the idea of moving to Oregon soon, because in Oregon, as a medical marijuana patient, you not only can you have an ounce or 2 ounces, you can have 23 ounces of marijuana in your home.
Oh, and you can also grow your own too, I think, can't you?
You can. You just cannot sell it, but you can grow it. You can even give it away for free if you know somebody who needs it.
Mm-hmm. See, that's where I think that the key is. Shane made a good point last week, but I think that that's the key right there. Everybody should start growing all the way across the country to where all we had to do was just share and give it out free to everybody. And that would get rid of all the drug cartels. It would get rid of all the Drug Enforcement Agency and Homeland Security, since they spend most of their time either on the border, looking for people bringing marijuana across the border. It would end so many things. Plus, the main thing, it would open up the hemp industry and put everybody back to work.
Yeah, absolutely would. And that is something that our American public needs to focus on, is the fact that there are so many people who are desperate for a job these days, and they're looking for new ways to find sources for fuel and sources for clothing and sources for all the other good things that we need for creature comforts. If they were to just roll up their sleeves and stand shoulder to shoulder on industrial hemp, we could bring this to an end.
If you just look at the fact that most of our textiles are made out of flax, and we ship into this country 97% of that to make our clothing and all the various textiles that are made. 97% of what the flax we use is shipped into this country, and they could turn right around and grow hemp, which is a more than suitable replacement. In fact, it's stronger because of the fiber length and whatnot, but they could actually start growing the hemp, and we would do away with that foreign flax market that is quite costly, and that would be, a stimulus for jobs here.
Well, and when not only when that happens, then you got people paying taxes, and you got streets being built, you got hospitals being cared for, schools being given books for our students, and it does a big ripple effect through the entire civilization of our country.
Well, they keep using the argument too that if they legalize cannabis, then you're just going to have widespread, just stoners everywhere, and it's just going to be terrible and all that. And really, the statistics prove that opposite. First of all, they've never proven that stoner effect anyway. That's all really a bunch of hype, just more part of the lie. And there's not really a problem for the people who smoke cannabis today to find it and get it. The problem is that we have to deal with a cartel from Mexico that, they could contaminate the weed. Our own government routinely sprays the paraquat in South America and Mexico and stuff. And so the cannabis users themselves, we're put at a risk just because we choose to use this herb, and we wouldn't have to go through all that if we were allowed to grow our own. And we really put ourselves in tremendous risk. I mean, if the cartel is ruthless enough to do the kind of things they've done, the mutilations and stuff, what's it to them to spray something on the stuff that they know American citizens are going to be smoking?
Without any hesitation. Absolutely. And right now we are also being joined by another friend of mine. I'd like to have a chance to introduce you to him, Carey Burns. I'd like to introduce you to Paul Bullock. Paul Bullock, Carey Burns.
Hey, how are you, Carey?
Paul, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Where are you in Texas?
I'm in south of Tyler, Texas.
Oh, I'm in Lubbock.
Okay, you're way out there in the snow.
Yeah, okay. Well, good talking with you. Go ahead, you all continue, and I'll just listen and jump in when it's appropriate.
Well, we're talking about smoking pot and making jobs out of it. You know about that, don't you?
Well, from what I understand, and I met this gentleman. He's traveling around Texas and giving Texas citizens an opportunity to learn the business aspect of medical marijuana. I wish I could remember his name, but I was introduced to him at a recent function in Austin with the normal people down there, Texas Normal. And so there are Texans who are educating themselves and becoming a little bit more familiar with what we need to do when the time comes to actually take this into a medical realm.
Yeah, that's the one. I think there's too much being. I realize that they have to go this medical route because our government has narcotized this plant. They put it in a Schedule 1, as a narcotic, which it isn't. It has none of all of the definitions of narcotic and all of the rules and regulations that the Health and Human Services requires to have on a substance to be on Schedule 1. It fits none of those, and I think that's a big problem. By allowing the medical industry to take over this herb, and you've never had doctors really embrace herbs or anything like that, but to allow the medical industry to take over this herb is really narcotizing this plant and giving justification to all the powers that be, the government, all them that have been trying to say that about this plant all this time. And it's a big lie.